Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings. Welcome to the December 9th, 2024 meeting of the Human Services Committee for Manhattan Community Board 11. My name is Isaac Scott, and I'm the chair of this committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:04 p.m. We are joined today by Marlene Pierre, who is our staff agent. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe some ground rules. First, no one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon, and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. We will now do roll call. Committee members, just answer present when you hear your name called.
Marcel Bondino, present. Rosa Diaz.
Present.
Arnice Foster Hernandez, present. Jennifer Meyer. Valerie Ponce, present. Asher Rodriguez. Isaac Scott,
Present.
Robert Strachan, present. And Alita Chichibu.
Thank you. So the minutes, okay, the agenda, let's start with the agenda. So the minutes from last meeting's minutes were not distributed, nor were October. Yes, I just haven't gotten them over to Marlene in a timely fashion for her to review them and send them to you all, but you will have them. So January, we will be ratifying both November and December now. Off to meeting minutes. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board's office. If there are no objections to the agenda as it was sent, we can move forward with it as it was. Any objections to the agenda? If there are no objections, the agenda for this meeting is adopted. And again, our minutes, we will be, please take a look at them when you get them, but they will be from October, which is when we did our budget priorities, November, where we had our info session, and the brain health presentation, and then this month, being what we talked about today. Okay, with that, I'll transition into our first set of, which is announcements. Are there any announcements from any community members or community? Any events going on? Any giving out toys for the kids? Anything like that happening in the community that we should know about? Seeing no hands in the virtual space either, I'll push us forward, but please reach out to us, anyone on the committee, if there are any upcoming events like that you want to spread to the community and you want community to help. I know that a lot more coming up around, Christmas time and getting kids toys and stuff like that. So we definitely want to help with making sure that folks in the community can take advantage of those resources. Okay, so with that, I'll transition into our informational updates, and we'll start with, do we have Pauline Ferrante on? Hi, Pauline.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Pauline Ferrante from the Health Department. I don't have any major updates, but I'm just going to share my screen really quickly so that people can familiarize themselves with our. Oh, I'm not allowed to screen share. I would just like to highlight the Department of Health's website. We have a wealth of information that we always update our website with, I see that I'm able to share now. So this is the main page of our web. This is like the main homepage of our website. And on this top bar is usually what we would like to focus on, really get the community's attention as to what the priorities are for the health department. But I really did want to also highlight our news section where we have a lot of information. For example, last week was World AIDS Day, where we talked about progress. This year, we did see a slight increase in diagnoses, but overall, it's still a decrease from previous years. And we're working really hard with our sexual health clinics to get information out to the community about what's available in terms of PrEP and PEP for people, and to encourage everyone who is sexually active to make sure that they are on top of their health, to know their status and to really take care of that. Also, we released information about hepatitis A and B, the annual NC, the annual report came out. And so this is a really helpful page for the community to know sort of what we're working on, what reports we're releasing. And if you all as a community board have questions about anything or would like more information, that's when you can let me know, and I'll be more than happy to reach out internally and see if we can get a presentation, at your following community board committee meeting, to have someone to speak more in depth about anything that you're interested in. So just wanted to highlight that real quickly. And then, of course, I'm always happy to take any questions that people may have. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pauline. Yes.
Couple months ago, we had questions about some subject that we had stuff and following up with another. There was no response. Remember you said maybe we have to rewrite the questions, or was, you kept telling us it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That was
like 2 months.
yeah, but that was okay, yes. I don't think I'll address that one. Are there any questions for Pauline regarding the information she just shared about the website? So that was out. So we were doing the budget request priorities at that time, and I was concerned about how DOH keeps giving us these rubber stamps responses. So we did address that in how we re-articulated our requests. So let's see the responses we get. So we have to, when we get the budget.
We're still waiting.
We have, yeah, so this was for our budget for fiscal year 26. So there's the whole process. So we won't see those requests until like next year when the mayor budget. So that's how that. So we were talking about requests we made for fiscal year 25 and how they gave us those answers. So we improved our requests by enhancing them because they weren't as thorough as we felt they could. That's how we addressed it. So now we're waiting to get those responses back. Then we can ask the folks from DOH about that. Yeah, just so we understand. Yeah, so we do our due diligence before we start. And it's not bothering people, but before we start, asking questions, we just make sure we do understand. Any other questions for Pauline? Or I just asked. I see a hand raised in the virtual space. Hey, hi, Ms. Johnson.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Did you have a question?
No, I didn't. That definitely was my mistake.
Okay, but it's good to know you're there. All right, Pauline, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and Happy New Year, Happy Holidays too.
Thank you. You too. Be safe.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, since we got you on, you want to give some updates for East Harlem Co-ed?
Okay, it's good to be back and to see you all. Again, my name is Carol Johnson. I'm the disaster liaison for the East Harlem Co-ed community organizations and disasters. So we've been pretty busy. We recently had a small business workshop training in emergency preparedness. We prepared 10 businesses and communications, working out a plan in the event something happens in your workplace. That include communications, go bags. We introduced go bins in the event that those people would have to stay and shelter in place? Do you have supplies to keep them there? Which would be water, food, emergency communications to the outside, medical supplies, blankets, water, so it went pretty well. It was led by George Gutierrez and Jennifer Guzman. In light of Project 2025, we're really upgrading our communications. Part of 2025 is talking about the shutting down of the FCC, which is your Federal Communications Commission, which regulates both interstate and international communications. That means radio, TV, wire, satellite, cable in all 50 states, as well as shutting down the NPR. That is your public radio stations. That means information on health, science, business, and culture. So we're implementing a lot of different things. We're doing stuff, learning how to do encrypted codes. We're going back to Morse code. We're going back to the beginning. We're using handheld radios and different systems. We're also working on a new system that does not require internet. So we are seriously working towards, even if it doesn't happen, this is what's in this project. And so we focus on emergency preparedness. And we also focus on, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So these are things that you need to line up for your family, your friends, and we're always here to communicate with us. You can always reach us at the East Harlem COAD, East Harlem COAD @gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Are there any questions for Justin? Thank you very, very much. Happy holidays. I hope to see you in service for the new
Absolutely.
year. But if not, happy holidays. I'll see you next year.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so do we have Shannon on from CCHP?
Let's see, unless someone else does it.
Okay, 1 second. Try in. Okay, so we're gonna have a new set of informational updates from Diane Murillo. Cool. So I'm gonna shut up now, let you give your updates, but we appreciate you being in person. Thank you. The updates are usually 7 minutes.
Okay, great. I'm happy to be here first. My name's Shandra. I'm also Pauline, but I'm from the Harlem Bureau of Neighborhood Health, which is just right around here. I'm really at the Action Center. Well, that's none of our programs. So today I thought it would be great person since I'm already right in there. Walk right over. Just highlight our ongoing programming at the Action Center and the Bureau generally speaking. I have some handouts, I think, for everyone if you're interested in receiving them. But just to name them, actually, I'll just take a step back for a second. So, model of the Action Center is full of services. Full services are both internal to Department of Health and also external. So, in our space, we like to think of it as a one-stop shop with external partners and internal partners, and that can range from mental health services, benefit navigations, health insurance enrollment, things like that. And that's all outlined on this sheet, which is our one pager. So one program I really would like to highlight is the Family Wellness Suite, because they have programming for new and expectant parents, free diaper distributions, if needed, free card distributions, free strollers if you have them. We don't have them right now. But all of these are free, doesn't matter where you live. And these programs are also limited to other bureaus, Brooklyn and Bronx. If you're interested, I can get that as well. And we also have parenting classes too, every week. And that's what we hear as well as yoga. All of this is free. And again, it's right over there. And we can also provide connections to doulas to the citywide doula initiative. We also have an in-house doula too that we just have. A lot of different things going on. Yeah, they're really becoming very robust and, finally, we've been able to hire everyone and fill almost all the positions, so they've been able to really shine. So that's been good. Then we also have the App Center, which, is not, it's also a really great program, but they're not, they're still figuring things out in terms of hiring. So, they're a small but mighty team. They can do integrated health management services. They can actually go into the home if they're providing for asthma. They can also provide asthma counseling services as well to children with asthma under 18. And those services extend to the family as well. I won't go through all of them, but I will leave these with you. And yeah, I also wanted to share that tomorrow we're having an event. I know it's it, but one of the things I've been working on at the Bureau as part of my special project is supporting engaged New Yorkers across the city. So I've been creating a series of fairs that have serviced about 1,000 New Yorkers March of last year. And we just provide vaccinations, clothing, things like that at the Action Center. So that's actually happening tomorrow. And we're having vaccines provided by Ryan Health to end COVID. So I also got flyers for that. If you're able to share that with any community members, it is open to everyone. We try to reach the New Yorkers and immigrant population. And in that same vein, we also have a Know Your Rights workshop. A lot of things have been expressed to us from our partners and also community members about public charge, especially with the administration coming up. And just being mindful of what that means and what it doesn't mean. So we had our partner NILAG, who's also in our building. They provide legal support to Starbucks. I don't think I have that flyer, but I can get January. But in the meantime, if you know anyone for our legal clinics Thursdays from 9 a.m. No, 10 a.m. Information. I usually attend online, but I'm glad to be here in person. I think it definitely goes out. Great. In person. I think I do like to. Do I leave it here? Yeah. Or not
All day.
yeah, I will be
Okay.
there all day.
We'll be all day.
We'll be there all day. It was
Okay,
great.
thank you so much.
The rest of
And
it, yeah.
we don't have a packed agenda. After this presentation, we're gonna talk about the event before we leave. I would love to get some of your feedback.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Cheyenne? Any questions in the room? Yes, please.
Quick question about the legal clinic. Do you need to make a reservation before you go?
That's a great question. On Thursdays, they are able to take walk-ins if they have the time permits, but it's one of those things where, you might not know all the time.
Right.
So there's a number that you can call and it's a call-in line that's staffed, pretty much all the time, except Sundays. So I would recommend calling. I wish I brought that flyer with me. I can give it better. Okay.
And we can find out where to call first.
I can give you the number out of my.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ms. Cheyenne. And welcome to our information and update session. Yes. I'll make a note to remember that when we do our vendor planning. I think it was someone else who might have, I think it might have been. I was for the footage. No. It was script in the floor.
Oh, okay.
So I will email. So in the new year, expect some new additions to the information update section. And if you guys have organizations y'all think should be coming, then before, please let us know. Also, heads up, I'll say it now, it's probably for the goal section, but just a heads up so you all know, if you are a committee member and you have your own initiative, organization you're running, I would like to use this so that everyone in here at least knows what we should do. So there's a lot of work being done at the table, and I don't even think the community knows much about the work being done at the table by the community. So I would love for you all, they just go around and however you slide, or if you just want to talk about the whole what you do, that's fine. I know we did a little bit of that on introductions, but I think it would be beneficial to the community if we had people trust. Let's move into our presentation. Just so we can engage that. Hello, so we have an informational presentation from regarding the proposed Carmen. Am I saying it right? Senior, I'll just say the senior housing project at 101st Street. And I think we have James and Chris on. Oh, 110 Street, 101 East, 110 Street. So yeah, I think James and Chris, are you on?
Yes, we're on the
Yeah.
prod. We're on.
So you have
Chris, yeah.
You have about 10 minutes to flow, and then if you can leave a few minutes for Q&A.
Sounds good. Yeah, we might be just around 10 minutes, so that should be good. All right, let me share my screen. Can everyone see the screen all right and hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. So good evening. Thank you to the Human Services Committee for having us this evening. It's great to be back at CB11, coming off the Beacon project to partner with you all and solicit feedback on another affordable housing project in the district. My name is James Chikov, and I'm the Senior Planner for the Borough of Manhattan at HPD, joined by my director on the call, Melissa Auten, and I'll be presenting with representatives of the development team. They'll introduce themselves throughout the presentation. So we're excited to be here to present Carmen Villegas Apartments as we gear up for ULURP in early 2025. So we'll go through introduction of where the development site is and the proposed land use actions coming from the applicant team here. And then the development team will take you through a project overview of including the affordability and unit mix, as well as programming on the site and sustainability and local hiring. So to begin with a bit of background, the development site will be located on the underutilized existing parking lot of the privately owned Casita Park Housing for the Elderly, which is located at 110 East 111th Street. Casita Park is currently owned by Ascendant Neighborhood Development. The applicant team for this ULURP coming would be HPD, Ascendant, Xylem Projects, and the Urban Builders Collaborative, which is the development arm of Latier Construction Corp. The development team is also comprised of those aforementioned organizations. And so we are anticipating to certify for ULURP in the first quarter of 2025. And the proposed project will be a 28-story new residential building with approximately 210 senior housing units and 1 superintendent's unit to be developed under HPD's Senior Affordable Rental Apartments program, which is known as SARA. And so here's an aerial view of the site for a bit more context. So the current lot encompasses the entirety of Lot 1 highlighted in blue, and the development site is highlighted in red, which will be using development rights from the entire zoning lot to achieve its height and floor area. The proposed project will be on the corner of Park Avenue and East 110th Street, just to the north of the NYCHA Clinton houses. And so to facilitate this proposed project, the applicant team proposes the following land use actions. HPD proposes acquisition of previously city-owned property by the city on block 1638, lot 1. That is the existing lot that I mentioned. The property was previously conveyed to Ascendant through a UDAP action in 2000 for the development of Casita Park. And then we will dispose of the development site on that part of lot 1. Ascendant, Xylem Projects, and Urban Builders Collaborative proposed to also rezone the area to an R9-1 district and a zoning text amendment to map a mandatory inclusionary housing or MIH area that would be in the dotted black line there on the map. So now I'll turn it over to the development team to introduce themselves and speak in more detail about the project. Matt, you're muted. I think.
Hi,
There we go.
guys hear me? Hear me okay now? Okay, great. My name is Matt Gross, partner with Nick and Gerard Latier and Urban Builders Collaborative, again, the development affiliate of Latier Construction Corp. Latier has been based up in East Harlem for 45 years on 110th between 1st and 2nd Avenue. I'm filling in for our fearless leader, Chris Cirillo, the executive director and president of Ascendant Neighborhood Development. Ascendant, based in East Harlem as well. As you can see from the slide here, has a portfolio of about 28 buildings, of about 690 affordable apartments, and they have a pretty robust pipeline, of which you're aware of Beacon, which is also working its way through. We've been working with Ascendant for years on this Carmen Vegas and some other RFPs and projects as a local East Harlem local East Harlem nonprofit and East Harlem-based company. We're excited, and also to bring in Xylem Projects. Nena Lynch, my colleague here, is on with us. Xylem is a certified minority women business enterprise. More importantly, brings to the table a wealth of public experience working in the Bloomberg administration and then going on into the private sector, commercial real estate finance. And we're lucky to have her on the team. And so the three of us are partners here, and we'll continue on. James, you're driving the presentation, so we'll keep it going. The project overview. This is a 28-story poured-in-place concrete project with 210 affordable senior apartments, which includes one live-in superintendent's apartment. Here's some of the breakouts of the the community facility and common area, the 2,000 square feet of amenity space, which we'll have another slide on that specifically, and some of the outdoor space, which includes some innovative programming on the ground floor. We're calling it Salsa Way, which is right next to the meat market, Casablanca. The Casablanca Meat Market building is right next door, and between our residential entrance and the Casablanca building, we have a Salsa Way, and then we have a leasable community facility space, and our partner, Sage, who is an advocacy group, one of the leading national providers for advocacy for LGBTQ plus seniors in the country. They're familiar with these types of tax credit projects, and we're really lucky to have them on board. They've been working with us on the planning and designing of the space, and we are joined by Lynn, who will speak more to the services that Sage will be providing, and then just some other highlights, which we'll get into more later in the presentation, of just the sustainability. We really are pushing the envelope, and we'll be FIAS Core, FIAS, the Passive House Institute of the United States. The FIAS is the most advanced sustainable certification. As you can see on the top, we have the solar array panel, plus we have the building integrated photovoltaic on the facade. You can see in the rendering over there, as well as geothermal, and then the flood resistance. Again, we'll get into some of the sustainable features later. Keep it moving to the 6th floor, which we're really proud of. Just tried to really provide a great experience. You can see the outdoor space on the lower parts, and over on the west side, some green plantings, and then you can see the indoor is identified. This is all accessible to all of the residents of the building, and all of the programming here to really promote wellness, to be able to get outside of your apartment, which is going to have a lot of light, is going to be really great. HPD does have units that are on the smaller side. We have a lot of great programming to really allow people to get out and enjoy the community in the building. You can see some of the spaces that are going to have great views and great sun here. We'll keep moving. Presentation. Okay, getting into the proposed unit mix and affordability. Again, 100% seniors. The project has already been awarded project-based Section 8 vouchers through NYCHA for all 100% of the apartments. And so just going on the top here, you can see the studios, predominantly studios in this building, and it's a senior building, and that's the policy of HPD. And so you have 77% studios, and then the one bedrooms, you could see you have 23%. That breaks out. You can see the numbers: 163 studios, 48 one-bedrooms, and then again, one set aside 2-bedroom apartment for a live-in superintendent. So the set aside here, and you go to the bottom, percent of units by AMI, you have the set aside for formerly homeless, which is part of the senior affordable rental apartment. The SARA program is required to have that set aside. And then you have the other 70%, which is up to 50% of the area median income. And typically it's 62 years of age and up. The formerly homeless set aside, that 30%, that age restriction is actually 55 there. And we'll keep going. Again, Section 8 project-based vouchers. And in terms of the upper end spectrum, in terms of the income and rent limits, it's up to 50% of area median income, but there is no minimum. So some folks in the previous SARA buildings that we've done potentially don't have any income. Some may have income like supplemental security income or other sources. And so there is no minimum. This will all go through the HPD 2.0 Connect and the lottery system. And then the set-asides will go through DHS in terms of leasing those up. Keep it moving to the community facility program. And we have Lynn here. And, Lynn, feel free to kind of go off the script here. This is sort of the general services that Sage provides. They have another facility here currently operating in Harlem that they would be coming over to this new space. And I will hand it off to Lynn. I think you're here.
Yes, I'm here. Thanks, Matt. Hi, folks.
Hey.
My name is Lynn Faria. As Matt indicated, I'm the Executive Vice President at Sage, and really excited to talk about the services and programs that we hope to offer at Carmen Villegas. Our mission at Sage is to improve the lives of LGBTQ plus older adults, and we do so through advocacy, through technical assistance, and through on-site services. And in fact, here in New York, we've been around since 1978 and offer a range of different programs, services, through case management and through our network of Sage centers. We actually have experience providing the exact same type of support to residents in 2 other SARA developments, one in Brooklyn called Stonewall House, and the other in the Bronx called Crotona Pride House. And in those buildings, Sage functions as both the on-site service provider, providing support to tenants, and we operate on-site what we call Sage centers, which are LGBT welcoming older adult centers. As Matt referenced, this is the experience that we're going to bring to Carmen Villegas. And we also bring, our role as an experience and already providing similar support in Harlem. We operate a Sage Center, which we have for about 15 years. And our current location is on the campus of the Drew Hamilton houses. And so we have had some conversations with the New York City Department for the Aging about potentially transferring the contract that we secured to provide those services to the Harlem community over to this site. It's a little early, but that's something that we've had those conversations about. And so just like tiny bit more about the on-site services. The Sage Center will offer residents and community members a host of programs and services, including socialization programs, daily congregate meals, educational workshops, health, wellness, and nutrition classes, all complemented by on-site case managers to really help folks attending those services with any deeper needs they may have. So that case management that I mentioned is that deeper comprehensive support. And those case management services includes counseling, support with maintaining housing, referrals to other providers, to healthcare, and helping to really coordinate care with other providers and with their caregivers. And one thing that we've really seen as, being an on-site provider in these two other SARA developments is just how deeply the chronically homeless population of elders really struggle with a number of mental health issues, substance use issues that could impact their housing stability. And we've really seen how important this case management support is to maintain housing. As you can see here, our services will leverage our whole person wellness model, which really ensures that residents are active, they're engaged, they're supported, and they have everything that they need to really thrive in their new environment and successfully age in place. And as you see here, some of the key goals includes housing stability, really making sure that we're helping folks with financial management, maintaining and improving their financial security so that they can continue to remain stably housed. Our services are really designed to improve overall quality of life, to really address the social determinants of health that are so crucial for everybody, but in particular, this population of low-income older folks. And our approach has really been to really integrate the SAGE Center into the community, both the community within the residents, but also the local neighborhood and surrounding community, to really help to create a welcoming environment where residents are supported and the overall residential community is nurtured. I'll pass it back to you, Matt. I think I've rambled enough.
No, I mean, it's always it always is, so inspiring to hear some of the stuff your group is providing. And just to piggyback a few things, Lynn mentioned the Department for the Aging in terms of a funding source. Regarding the resident support services, the way that the Capital SARA program works is it has the eligibility for the Human Resources Administration Senior Services Award, which provides annual funding for specifically the social workers that are helping the tenants in the building. So that stream of funding is available. We'll be applying to that forthcoming in the new year through HRA to support those services. We also have a whole bunch of other features just in terms of some of the wellness and the nutrition, in terms of the just some of the integration of the building that we're trying to do with growing produce and some other things there. We're still in the planning stages, but hoping to support some of these programs directly to SAGE throughout the building. So we're looking forward to continuing to design a great space, and let's keep moving. I know there will be a bunch of questions. We want to have time for everybody. James, you'll keep us up. Sustainability and resiliency, just a little glitchy on my side. Great. So one of the big highlights of this building is really how far we've pushed the envelope, and it's been recognized already. The New York State Energy Research Development Authority, NYSERDA, has awarded us the Building of Excellence Round 4 subsidy, which provides approximately $1 million to the project in order to incorporate all of these sustainable features. We will be meeting, as well as the Building of Excellence NYSERDA. There's Enterprise Green Communities 2020 that HPD implements. Again, the Passive House is that certification for the Building of Excellence. The solar and geothermal is all part of that. We've already received the blue ribbon design at this stage for all of the effort and resources that we've put in to preparing for a project of this magnitude in terms of the geothermal, which is underneath the building, in order to utilize the constant temperature down below. We'll be going down 850 feet for those boreholes. We put in a lot of resources and time to make sure that the thermal energy and the modeling works. and all of the solar arrays, we really tried to push that and just have as much sustainable features here as possible. The flood resiliency, we've designed to the 2080 floodplain. We've elevated all of the utilities. The stormwater detention tank system has been something we've been working on for already a year, just because Casita Park as well is sort of integrated there. The geothermal idea is that we can create sort of a mini district of a geothermal that Casita Park potentially would be able to utilize as well in the future for a rehab, as that building is getting to the end of its useful life. So we're also considering Casita Park and everything that we do, and are really just excited. There's just so many different other sort of resiliency features that our architects have been incorporating to make sure that we're really pushing this as much as we can from across the board on an environmental justice standpoint. I think the whole the heat issue, we're trying to put as much greenery on our canopies. We really are trying to address, as you can see in the slide, environmental justice kind of spans so many different areas here. So really trying to check each one off as best as possible, keep this moving. And then local hiring, I think I'm always excited to talk about this. We've been a partner with Community Board 11. We've been a partner with Positive Workforce for a few decades. We've really made such strides achieving a National Center for Construction Education Research certification. That's a Department of Labor recognized curriculum. We've been integrated a lot with Local 79 at this point. Again, this is a Section 8 project-based voucher program, and so this will be prevailing wages. So the majority of the subcontractors here will be union trades. We also will have Local 79 on the project. So just having Local 79 that we've already been working with, and having Positive Workforce that we have an existing relationship, we've already started working specifically with CVA and also with Beacon. We really look at these projects as really forward-looking. So we've already been hiring from some of the training programs that have been going on over at Positive Workforce. We look forward to bringing on some of those folks. We sponsor the site safety training if needed. We've been sponsoring a lot of the NCCR and the certifications up at 109 East 125th. And obviously all of this kind of filters into the HPD commitments for the Build Up program and the Higher NYC. And those are the actual riders to the GC contract. In addition to CB11's commitments, we always are able to go above and beyond. And I'm getting the hook, and I could go on and talk about that, though. I think we'll be also back. I think just the one thing I would say before we close out is I know that this is the first of a few different presentations that we will be making to a few different committees. I know the Housing Committee, I think Economic Development maybe committee, not Economic Development, James, maybe. So there's the Housing. I believe that there's one other.
Land use.
Happy to go to any other. The land use, right? Housing and land use. But happy to present to any other committees specific aspects of the project if you'd like, and I'll stop there and open it up for questions.
Thank you very much. This is going to be a land use.
I'm sorry, say that again.
No, it was a question to yeah, please, Mark.
Two things. One, struck by the height of the building. 28 stories seems to be quite a bit larger than most, if not all, buildings around it. Am I right, or am I missing the fact that there are other 28-story or higher buildings in that area?
Yeah, it's actually contextual with the NYCHA development to the south, the NYCHA developments to the north, and then Sendero Verde. And it's not the biggest building in that area. I think Sendero Verde eclipses us because they are north of 30 stories. James is highlighting that. That's just catty corner between Park and Madison, between 110 and 111. So no, it is pretty contextual. I think because of its solar arrays and the coloring, and I think the way that our architects have sort of rendered it, I think they kind of make it stick out. It's a little more perception, but it really is a contextual project in the scheme there.
Yeah, the second question is there any thought to being who actually is going to live there? Is it going to be seniors who are living currently, whether homeless or not, in East Harlem, or is it going to be open to a whole bunch of other people coming into East Harlem?
Yeah,
So
you know, that's, go ahead, sorry, James.
yeah, we can chime in here from HPD. So, you know, this project will be on Housing Connect like our other projects. So, you know, it will be open to all New Yorkers. But as you know, there is a 20% community preference up until if this project is advertised prior to April 2029. Afterwards, there'll be a 15% community board preference for Community District 11. But the rest of you know, the units will be marketed to New Yorkers as a whole. And then in terms of the homeless set aside, which is 30% in this case, you know, they can put a borough preference and, you know, HRA is kind of up to them or sorry, DHS up to them and how the placements work in terms of the housing.
So just so you understand, this is the scheme process.
Can I just piggyback?
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
but so you keep it quick.
I think the big thing is about the marketing and the advertising and making sure that we're getting the word out in the community. And I think because you have a development team where all three partners are based in Harlem, 2 in East Harlem, is making sure that physical flyers are going up in senior centers, in the faith-based organizations, and making sure that we're really getting out there and helping in advance with the lease up. We find that there's a lot of folks who are a little intimidated by the process because there's a lot of paperwork. There's like all types of different checks, and so we do try to set up informational sessions, and Ascendant really comes in a lot with that grassroots outreach and working directly with the community and community partners like CB11 and some of the other nonprofits to really make sure we get the word out and try to capture that local market as best as we can.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, Mark, it's a part of the lottery system. I'm happy.
This might be a little bit of an ignorant question, but this being such a large building and there's seniors in there. I don't know if you guys can answer this, what's the plan if there's fire and emergency?
Sorry, can you repeat that a little closer to the microphone? Sorry.
Yeah, the question was regarding fire safety, being that there will be a lot of elderly people in the building. Are there any special, is there anything put in place to ensure that seniors who are at high level floors, maybe, do you get the gist of the question? It's around fire safety, being that the building is tall and the seniors in the building.
We will have a backup generator, right? There is backup power in the event that there was a loss of power in order to get folks down if in terms of an evacuation. So I think that's the concern, is that from a safety to get folks from the top to the bottom as quickly as possible.
Fire department's job. That's what it's not.
You can't say elevator.
Can't take the elevator. Yeah, I guess the question is not being answered clear enough. And let me know if you don't understand the question or if you can't answer it. But really just a fire safety question about how people on 23, how people on these high floors will actually make it down if they're elderly.
Yeah, ideally they wouldn't have to make it down. I mean, if there's ever a fire, I mean, typically you're going to stay in place, right? The fire rating, and it's a port in place building. It's also a sprinkler building. So in the event, you know, you're not I think it's what type of emergency would necessitate that. If there was an emergency that necessitated getting folks in the upper floors down, again, there's a backup generator that we would have that ability to transport folks down to the ground floor for safety. The fire department will be doing a full comprehensive review, and they would have to sign off on our process and procedures and any protocols. They require that. So we also would have an ARCS system here, the auxiliary radio communication, which is sort of a measure that was implemented post 9/11, post pandemic, is now a requirement so that they can communicate within the building, regardless if all communication systems are down and we have to go to Morse code, which I love hearing that, and just bringing it back to basics. So I think we understand the safety issue and we'll be addressing it, not just the code, but to above and beyond. I think it's all about the messaging and communication with the tenants as well, and making sure they understand the evacuation plan, the safety plan, and what their response should be. So I think there's a lot of education and communication on a property management standpoint that, you know, we stand committed to communicate. Hopefully that was sufficient.
Question for Ash, and then I'm going to Robin. Thank you for answering.
All right, do you have any partnerships with hospitals or any care type of, I know you have the LGBT, care program, but I remember the building that my grandma lived in East Harlem had a partnership with a hospital close by and Arch Care, but do you have any type of those partnerships with seniors living in the building?
Being in East Harlem for so long, I definitely want Linda to jump in. I think from the development team standpoint, there's a whole bunch of partnerships that we would put in place. I think we would look to Lynn and the SAGE team to really guide us on what their process and protocol would be, especially in sort of off hours, because the community facility is really going to be I don't want to say 9 to 5, but they're going to have more regular business hours. And, you know, so after hours or on certain weekends and on Sundays, we'll be coordinating between SAGE and ownership and then property management on what those contacts are. We were in contact with Arch Care, a few of the other providers in the area, Union Settlement, and a few other potential crisis centers. And Lynn, if you want to, there's any.
Sure, Matt. Yeah, and we also have partnerships with with Arch Care and with Union Settlement, as well as with hospitals across the city, and we've leveraged those in our other centers to be able to make referrals so that folks can access care. We've also done things like hosted vaccine clinics and brought in different kinds of health education through these partnerships. And to Matt's point, that's really where the relationship between the property management and the service provider becomes so important in terms of making sure that there are connections with the more local hospital providers if there is an emergency in those off hours.
Thank you, Robin.
Yes, hi, you may have already addressed this, but entering the building, is there a security system in the lobby or is it a buzzer?
There's 24-hour, 7-day-a-week security that's provided through the SARA program at HPD. So it will be secure and control.
Valerie, but how much of this project has been approved?
I apologize. Can you repeat the question?
How much of the project has been approved already?
How much of the project has been approved already? James, do you want to take that or?
Yeah, so we are working to get to ULURP in the early part of 2025. And as you know, ULURP is about a 7-month process. So we're hoping to receive, approvals by the end of summer, early fall. And then, our SARA programs division at HPD will work through a closing timeline with the development team. They've been working closely now for a few years And that'll be more clear once we get closer to approvals and when construction can begin.
And just in terms of current funding awards, we've received the state NYSERDA award. We received the project-based Section 8 rental subsidy award, and we were also awarded some Resolution A funding through our elected officials in the district. So we've lined up a whole bunch of funding sources to support the project, and once we get through the formal city planning process, we can start to refine the other capital that's needed and monetize the tax credit equity, which will finance the project.
Ms. Johnson, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I'd like to know, are any of the apartments ADA compliant? In terms of American Disabilities Act, lower cabinets, wider doors, signs,
Yeah.
larger fonts?
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, definitely. There's a minimum requirement of 5% UFAS, which is considered ADA compliant. We will go above that. We typically are adding in more. We do have a standard with these projects that we like to do the roll-in showers. We like to put in the grab bars all over, the bench. We really are trying to make these apartments, even though they're independent senior living, the ability for people to age in place and to continue to be there in duration. And so the ADA is, we will have some call it above and beyond. We put railings in all of the hallways. We make sure there's the clearances all over the building so that anybody who's in potentially wheelchairs is going to have full access to every area just as anybody else. So with the apartments, they are predominantly ADA adaptable so that if somebody were to come in and it isn't compliant, it can easily be converted. So if we needed to make the building 100% compliant, we could easily do that.
Thank you.
At what age does Section 8 consider senior citizen?
I don't think we could hear that very well. Could you speak a little closer to the microphone?
At what age is senior citizen for Section 8?
I think the question is what age is senior citizen for Section 8? What age is it for senior citizen?
Got it. So the predominantly it's 62 years and up, and then the set aside, the 30% set aside would be 55 years and up.
Okay. Seeing no more questions in the room and in the Zoom space, thank you very much. I'm not going to ask any more questions because you guys are going to present to about 5 more committees. Folks can bring their questions to those committees. Right? Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
If it comes up, we can follow up also. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening.
All right, y'all. Okay. Well, I guess we're at that time of the meeting. This is a gift from Robin, Human Services Committee, for our people congratulated us on a wonderful event. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you, Robin.
You're very so proud of you all.
Thank you. So we are at that part of the meeting. We are at that part of the meeting where, I just wanted to spend a few minutes just debriefing the event, talking about what stood out to people, what they, just feedback in general. I love the event, I hated it, yes, you were gonna say something?
No.
Oh, you changed your mind on the press, yeah. All right, event, any thoughts on the event? Anybody want to give any feedback? Yeah, that worked fine.
It's really.
Did they? How did they?
They liked it, the feedback that I got was they wish that they could have painted the map that was given out, type thing, like they wanted like an actual like art. What's really. But I'm realizing even though I'm not much older than this. People.
Actually, was hoping we could have ended it. So, I'm like, yeah, I was gave him out, yeah.
Yeah, they were looking at me, they're like, are we painting these? And I was like, oh,
Yeah, I'm not gonna get how it's done. So, the performer, yeah, performances around maps, so they gave everyone a map. But wasn't really any instructions on what people should do with their maps. What? I'll do it when you are just supposed to. I think they wanted to do it too.
they are gonna do that.
So thank you guys, definitely want to say thank you, Ash, and thank you, David, everyone from Children's Aid. We wouldn't officially send out a thank you email to everyone, but thank you for bringing the young people back and a good balance to the event.
Yeah.
Having that generational connection. And it really, and I hope that the youth kind of was helpful for them too. Any other tips?
How was participation?
I want the people who were.
I have no idea how many people came.
Those community board members. I think we have representation from every committee except for one.
Wow,
Oh,
great.
we have, on the sign-in sheet, and we had about 50 people sign in.
Wow.
I mean, everybody signed in, so that was even
Except for kids.
the organizers without the young people. There was at least like 20 something young people who didn't sign in. But we had about 60 people.
Great.
Yeah, and it was surprising. I don't know what surprising, but folks stayed through the day. And we had a good conversation from start to finish. But it went really well. My question I want to ask is about follow-up. So here's something to bring to your attention. We didn't spend the money we had. Less response. If any, we still have our money. Talk to Andrew about to use it, and possibly find post-promotional materials, so like follow-up materials, flag and stuff. Put there a message we want to there, maybe t-shirts. I definitely want to make like a brochure, that kind of thing. That came about these sorts of implementations that were there, but we also have the option of I bought shirt that folks seem to have. We can design our own shirt, and that could be, but we still have to use that on as follow up. And I still want feedback about this.
I have an idea, and this might be a little out there. But because we are in the human services committee, we see a lot of like donation stuff going on around like the holiday season, but that kind of drops off in the spring. When some of the weather is changing, so maybe we could purchase things and out to the community.
Oh, so it has to be related to the,
Oh, to the.
yeah, because that's what we ask for the money.
Well, that's another.
Okay, great. Come on, hi Rosa, how you doing?
Hi, sorry guys, I couldn't be there in person. I'm still recuperating sick. I apologize. But I don't know, the sound sounds a little bit choppy. I'm barely making out what you guys are saying, but I see that in the screen it says that we're speaking about how the event was. Can I speak about that?
Yes, please.
Awesome. So I thought it was amazing. I thought that coming together, first of all, I love in-person events. I adore them. And this was a very great experience for me personally. And especially to do it in a community and to learn about so many organizations doing the work. I am impressed that we were able to pull this together. I want to thank you all. Thank you so much. And also, I want to have the opportunity to thank Cada Empanada for their amazing empanadas and the food, and East Harlem Community Partnership for their generosity in catering to us. And it was just such an amazing event. I received a lot of feedback from families that were there, from their students, and and even the director, Sean Smith and Carmen, they were like, "When are we gonna do the next one?" It was really great. I just thought it was really great. Thank you so much, Isaac, for pulling this together,
Thank
and
you all.
everyone else, of course.
It was definitely a team effort. All I did was just have good ideas, but you guys made it all happen. Man, oh, give us some feedback.
I thought it was really, really great. I share similar sentiments with Rosa. I was there all day, which was really fun. I really enjoyed the how created art into the event, and I really thought that was super powerful and made it all the more enjoyable. But also integrated presentations from really different organizations, so it covered a lot. I felt in one day. Going into it, I thought it'd be a little more substance use focused, but not that it was bad. It was good that it covered mental health from a peer perspective. And I always love seeing the neighborhood navigator program folks out. They're amazing. I love them. So it was great seeing them. And I also really enjoyed the tabling aspect of that. You could go and connect with organizations during any off time. I met a lot of really great works there. So the networking component was also really powerful for me as someone who does with in this neighborhood as well. So I appreciated the opportunity to do that. I really loved it. The food was so good. Good choice of food. I was well fed all day. That was great. Yeah, I really liked it. And then also the conversation that we ended on in regards to the Narcan training. I also do Narcan trainings for the Bureau too. And thinking about how the overdose rates have gone down citywide, but that doesn't reflect in Central Harlem, and East Harlem has gone down, and kind of thinking through the service providers in the area respective to the overdose rate. So I was thinking that kind of got my own thoughts jogging. We have residents who are able to kind of put together an analysis of maybe the service providers, where they're located and how that's kind of played along with the overdose rate. So that's something I think I'm going to bring back to like our bureau and see if we can create any data or bring any data back to you guys and just community in general. So that's something that came up to me. On community residents? No, I'm not.
I have to do any work.
I know. I'm used to being very
You know what to do. Just, you have to do it.
very different experience in fire. Well, I think it was an event that touched on youth topics, mental health, and then it hit the substance misuse. I think I can be shining and speak that up a little bit more in the next event. But I feel like it did what it was supposed to do for the initial event and the initial topic, to kind of like quell the noise that has been happening of the saturation of services in the district, right? That's been happening way before I even started. And it's a group of people that have controlled the narrative. And so I think this committee choosing to do this event, there's another side to this narrative now. Maybe those two parties, you all and the other association, can come together at some point and have a productive conversation as opposed to not in my backyard. So I think the initial one, I think it was really good, well attended. People actually wanted to listen. Like they wanted to stay, and that's good. And I feel like I really think it's a testament to who you are, for authenticity. Like when people read when someone is authentic, like they want to sit next, they want to be around, they want to listen to what you have to say. And so if Isaac is leading the charge, then who is behind him must also be authentic. So that had people stay and listen to those people who choose those to come behind your message. And so it was good. Well, simple.
One of the things to the point, I wanted to make sure we didn't have single voices in the room, and I brought in people that follow, and so that, one of the things that was talked about, we not talked about spaces, systemic racism. And that was, while it's an uncomfortable topic, people don't want to. We are, like, everything is not on us to fix ourselves. There are some broken things in the system that works against Black and brown people. So understanding that as well helps us in the fight. Where is it a systemic issue where we should be going at the system, or when should we be coming at the people, or when should we be coming at the organization? So I think, and to that point, there was a presenter who, by the time they presented, I could tell the event impacted them because they used that word, systemic racism, inside of their presentation around the health. And I was like, well, you never say that. I knew that they were comfortable saying, but you also learned, honestly, you can't really be honest about stuff you see in that work. This was a space for you to be able to do that, feeling uncomfortable about using that language. And that's important for other women's work, because that's usually like those conversations are only had between Black and white people, and really digging into that. So when that's happening from a space, but you have a lot of people of color working there, is an injustice because they can never talk about it. So for folks to be able to, sneak it out in their things with their bosses there and stuff like that, it was an opportunity for folks to also feel in their work too, because it's hard to do this work. So, thank you guys.
I like that there was a people aspect to it. Like, to be honest, disagree a little bit about the fact that the words is being used. I feel like it was effective enough. Yeah, a lot of times these things that these are people who are talking about, not just you. I really like that there's class. There was people like me personally just hearing like that there was a diverse range of people talking about it. Like her name is Ashley, like talking about culture. I'm not Dominican, but I am Puerto Rican. Talk about health. Or healthy instances. Just seeing like those two intersections. Helpful. I think, like I said, I think a lot of times people will get, I think the reason why people say is because, yeah, it was an event about substance use and mental health and all of that, but it wasn't in your face. We hear a lot of statistics, stories, and showing that these are the people behind the words.
Promotion awards,
Like people are people.
it's a lot of emotions. And that was what I was hoping to do. It then did itself. And I just put into the room of people I thought one wasn't fake, two would be honest. They two.
I would say even
That
if
people told me I was everyone who was there inspired me. Learned very, very quickly.
it was also just not just someone who's in my class, spoke to each came up to each other, we would have a conversation. But I think just in the future, if we can do this again, I would argue not to put in so much of the substance use. Like, I feel like when you overplan something sometimes, it doesn't come naturally.
Well, first of all, I'm either that it couldn't be there. Second, I don't care what you say, things don't happen by themselves. You made this happen. And you made this happen. Three, is there any way to watch any of it? Okay,
So that's the next thing I wanted to follow up. I'm going to coordinate and figure out how to work with Marlene and Andrew and Lee to get links on our page, our website page, where they can link you to the. I'm going to either make like a Google site from my Human Services Committee thing where we can put videos up, discussions, the performance, everything, resources, everything. So that people can click on the link and get the whole event recap. To the point of future events, so this was which we didn't call it an eviction forum, honestly. I was regretting it when I said it. Forum that we could change the topic of each year. The reason I brought that up is no problem. And you all wait, it's not about how much we need to do a whole event like this every year, as much as we should continue to, do events like this period. That event I went hard because I wanted to really wipe on it. I wanted to just really wipe it. And I also wanted to just shut up a lot of noise, especially internally. Was the reason why I had a long, I knew that 3-hour event wasn't going to do. People don't even people will come after that, won't get nothing. It didn't matter what time of the day people came on Friday, they got fucked up.
Yeah.
People came, it didn't matter. People were like, yeah, I can only stay 5 minutes. Cool. I'm sure, Jen, did you get them? You know what I mean? So it was like, even if people wasn't, no one was there for the whole thing.
Even
There's only a few people who stayed the whole thing.
even the young people, from the younger people, like, they were there presently, but then
Yeah,
they never
yeah.
gone and stuff. They still got a lot out, even we had a group of, boys there who they don't really speak English, they still got. The way that they looked up when Ashley started speaking Spanish, it was like, yeah.
That was what it was.
I have a suggestion for the money. I think it would be nice to like foster the youth involvement. And if they're interested in art, maybe doing like an arts program with a smaller group of youth surrounding like some of the lessons that we talked about.
Yeah, you've been educated.
On event or training for. I have a friend who's the founder of Art Education, which teaches all about like human rights through art. Yeah,
Yeah. But do you mean?
I think, yeah, using the money for a smaller event for the youth that are doing.
Okay, the reason I'm asking, I keep asking, is because the money we have, we've already allocated this. Hey, let's get you over
Could
this.
we go against reallocate the money, Harley? That's a bad question, can we go?
You want to not reallocate it?
But I'm saying if we wanted to reallocate it,
It's something different.
not different completely, I just.
Okay, so they consider
It's still this committee's money. So wherever you want to purpose.
Oh, so we don't have to be stuck on the event?
No, wherever you,
Question, do we have-
come out of this committee.
Do we have to spend it before this January one now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah, we spent, this is fiscal year. So to that point, we got $500 now. Basically, we didn't spend it.
What if we use the money to purchase things and then have an event later? After done, or at the time of purchase?
I don't want to answer that, but I.
You may purchase, so hypothetically, you want to purchase shirts or something. Right. And then hold it off for another event.
Oh, well, yeah, well,
The money.
yeah, well, that's what we're gonna probably do. I mean, I don't think we'll give our own shirts we're gonna buy now. Yeah, so the goal was to buy a bunch of swag with it and do give it out however we want to give it out. So we want to do more things around to be able to give it out, sure. But my thinking was just that whatever we create with swag wise, it should have messaging. That comes out of the event. That way it's no.
So, mentioning flag, and keeping in theme of the holidays, what if whatever we purchase, we give out to those, the less fortunate? That way, of course, we're going to give out to everyone, but not forget those people in the community, because I feel like a lot of times they're over.
You mean sweaters and give.
Yeah, tops, sweaters, we drive every year.
Who's willing to coordinate? We only got a few weeks left, so who's willing to be a part of a coordinating team to get this money spent?
I also wanna just say, where they're all taking stuff.
Who wants to help me with spending this money?
I have one.
All right. I got money together.
Again, it's like. It's fact that. Yeah, right, and I love it, good. Like, I hear so much. Little more side.
I was thinking that you should probably go a little further, like, have, I know the community board has a relationship with one of the local shows, like, or the movie, that's Wicked, but if you can give them tickets and give them out as holiday gifts to some of the community organizations, that would be a quick way for you to get rid of the money. You could purchase some discounted tickets and give them out as a community giveaway, a community board giveaway.
Oh. Yeah, I would, yeah.
Is there any rules against, I mean, there's some, there are a number of organizations who presented who are doing exceptionally good work in the community. Is there any reason you can't provide them some of the funds as a organization? What? The organizations that are supporting people in the. They get a problem. I don't know who these organizations are. $100, Mark. Okay, that's fine. I try to. I don't know. What they let me. I don't know how they are. I'm sorry.
Like we purchased, we provided to them, so that if they need something, they can. I'll leave it on, I don't.
If I offer that, I think, and I don't, not this one. Organization do one. They have money, they have more than $500. We only have $500. I don't want to do it for the organization to decide what they want to do. Okay, I don't think that's the.
I don't think you're clear though.
No.
It's joking. I don't think you were clear.
Yeah, I wasn't. But, no, I definitely don't want to just give the money away. I want us to buy something that we can give. Buy something that is a gift from the human service to the world.
Just do shirts and give them away.
Do that, we can do sweaters, we can do tickets.
Yeah.
Do a number of things, maybe we have enough to do a little bit of
But the thing with the tickets, like movie tickets are good, but however, a lot of these movies end up on streaming platforms, so like. Like, you know,
But you know what, Wicked's not. But that ticket might be $500.
No,
Yeah,
because when you really get a good amount of tickets for stuff that kids can go to in person, it doesn't have to be a movie, like the matinee Broadway shows, like. They, a lot of kids don't even never been to them. You know, I have to say there's a lot of organization in the holidays to get gifts that kids need.
Yeah.
So kids are really, from my point of view, well taken care of and you are them.
But we did this to keep it connected to our event organization that supports kids that have parents dealing with substance use that we can work with. So that we can keep the audience we're targeting close to the event.
Okay, this sounds fine, for children, maybe.
Giving money to organizations, all right?
Well, not in that,
I'll do that.
not happening. Yeah, who have you here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's up, Alina? How you doing? Oh, are you?
Forgive my voice, guys. Isaac, I was saying that I texted you my my debrief comment regarding Friday.
Oh, okay,
Just wanted to make sure that if you could share it. So
Yeah, I'll share right now.
thank you.
Okay,
You're better, Rosa.
addressing topic that's sensitive addiction, which may tend to avoid, requires courage and commitment, and you did so with incredible grace and thoughtfulness. As a new board member, it gave me a better idea of my role in the community. And as a culturally specific nonprofit organization founder, these panel discussions resonated deeply with us. The insights shared and the conversations were not only meaningful, but also inspiring. They underscore the importance of community-centered support systems and open pathways for us to reflect on and strengthen our work. Additionally, we were nourished both mentally and physically throughout the event. Okay? The excellent food provided was a thoughtful touch and made us feel cared for and welcome. What truly made this event a win for us was the opportunity for my staff to connect with the service providers who were present. These new connections have already begun to spark ideas for collaboration and furthering our shared mission. Thank you once again for creating this space and facilitating such a successful event. Thank you, Alita, for that.
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to do, right? We wanted to build bridges. Yes, so. Did anybody got one? No, I didn't.
I'm not bad.
Okay. I didn't actually get to invite anyone to send it. I never, like, I didn't. I do, thank you. So, Martel gave us a beautiful, letter that, you could share with your employers to let them know the importance of the event.
Wow.
And I thought that was a beautiful touch. I just was so fun. I didn't even really get to invite people. I was like asking everybody else to invite people. Yes.
You have in the future,
Yes.
to share with us. Really.
Yes, that too. That too. Also, I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm more than happy to work with you on organizing their events as well. Because it's a competition thing. I know, I've heard folks throw smart comments out comparing our events to public safety, and I wouldn't do that. It was two different events, and I wish that, the public safety event was as successful as this one, because those two issues, like, these two committees, they go hand in hand. So, I think it's important that we lean in and support other. The only reason I was able to do that is because I started in this work doing events, art events, the confined arts. So all I did was do the confined arts and at the top. So it was very natural for what I. We got folks coming to this work who don't event plan. So when you ask them to do that, and it doesn't come out the same way, we're not supposed to be critiquing them. So I'm going to say that, because I know there's a lot of criticism about the public safety event, but I think maybe next year we can lean in and collaborate so that that could be a more inclusive event as well.
So just to talk about how to spend the money.
Yeah.
I like your idea of purchasing a t-shirt we can use later on in time. My other thought is, having sat in this room and witnessed almost fist fights and yelling from the other part of the conversation. To use that money to reach those. Yeah.
I think the tracks, I was like the Bible pamphlets, something that just comes out of like, because there was a lot done. There was cultural analysis, there was spiritual analysis, there was medical analysis done, there were trainings, there were there's a lot of like business information that came out of that I'm happy to like to condense and put into a pamphlet that can coincide with whatever shirts or cereals, tickets, whatever we buy, but at least a subset of information and brochures that we can to people so
How
that
about community of yes, not a community of no? No? Okay, fine, never mind. The reason I'm saying is because you guys weren't here to hear from many people living around 125th Street who really don't want to have any more conversations, community, about recoveries. The community's been oversaturated, which is why we've had this document, historical document, with a moratorium. And which is also why this approach of community building around these issues, couldn't be more time.
yeah, so I like you guys, like I know it's cool now being on the human services committee, but last year before that it's messy. No, we were on point, but just the noise coming into the space trying to disrupt what we was doing was all over the place. And I did do my best to keep us on point and on track. And I see a budget request that came out. That's work, and that's me ignoring a lot of people, your leadership. It's a lot, but we did it. And this event, which is to the point where I said it was the post that I wanted to make this event. I don't know how much we need to, because I also want to be transparent in that I would like for us to focus on some form of fair share advocacy, because it's not. I don't think it's right that we dump programs in our community more than we need. Especially if there's other locations that these places can be. I'm not saying we don't need them. In fact, there also does need to be a conversation around fair share. I don't think it needs to be a moratorium. I don't think it needs to be what is in existence. So we get a chance to develop that together. And I just want y'all to know y'all hearing this from me. You don't hear it from me, both the share of the human service. You hear about anything human services is working on, and we can talk about it in this room, it's fine. I want y'all to know that. You hear it at the borough board, you hear it at the city council, or they talk about the city parliament. If you didn't hear it at this meeting, it's a lot. That's happening a lot too. So just us focusing on our goals, what we set out to do, which is why I'm so heavy on y'all. What do we want to do? Let's execute. We in this room agree. That's work is done at the committee level. Should be here. If they're not here, then they don't want to do the work. Like real shit. So just so y'all know, like work is here for us to do too. And if folks don't want to do it with us, then they don't do it. But I also don't want to hear you crying, kicking, screaming later about stuff when we wasn't in the room, when we invited you. We asked you to be here. We asked you to work with us. Asked you to strategize. But I see a lot of people just want to flip their wrists and make a decision or hit a light switch and the problems go away. That's not how that happens. So, we'll do the work. And I'm not going to listen to the videos. But we do need to be intentional about everything we do. Understand that this committee is at war. This committee. People are looking at us. They all want, when people go outside and they see people with news in their arm, they think human services. This is what we're letting happen. You gotta understand it, and that's not the truth. But it is a stigma that is imposed on us. And I'm not saying we need to work from that space, but we need to be mindful of that. How to navigate. That's just. But we good. I just want y'all to know no weapon formed against us, and I can see that already. I already seen it form, and I saw it fall, and I'm very grateful for everyone here, everyone's participation, everyone's input. You guys, every one of y'all point out stuff you know, brought to the table already. So thank you. And let's just keep doing this work. And listen to the community, bring the issues back to us, you know, bring people to the board. You know, it was a lady in our shuttle box, there was a lady there who was like, is it safe to come back to the community board meetings? Because I remember when I was there before, it was so crazy. Like, man, like, this is why niggas don't. That's why people don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Like, I don't want to deal with like, oh, there's one person each other. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to go to that. That's how they do. These are the people that represent us. We don't do that. But sometimes I don't let people say things and control the narrative at the human source. I will tell you. I do, and I do a damn good job at it so that we don't have to go through the years. I'll do this right. Yeah, but with that, anything, have a follow-up email coming, if you took pictures, please send them to me.
Put the connections with me and my please do not.
Yeah, please send those pictures without that. But, yes, I'm also inside of my follow-up email will be like 3 follow-up questions just to continue to engage out with the people. And yeah, so we have a listserv now, starting with the people who came to the event that we can give information to. So this is also us building our network as a community. So we're doing a lot. I want y'all to also know we're far more advanced than you other people. Maybe all. But that's another conversation. What I want you all to do is take what you learned here to your other communities. Take the energy from here to the other communities because all of the chairs need support. And there are some chairs sitting in new positions, and it's challenging being in the chair. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted an announcement, and I should have, because you just said the other committees are on the board of the Marcus Garvey Park Alliance. They having a tree lighting tomorrow at Marcus Garvey Park at 5:30. So you're all welcome to come. We'll be there. There'll be some refreshments, and the Manhattan Borough Parks Commission will be there. There will be singing and the organization singing. I can't remember the group right. But you can go to the Marcus Garvey Park Alliance.org and you'll see the information if you want to know when performances, but it's tomorrow.
Into youth and education or whatever stuff intersects with this committee. Please.
Thank you. You know what? I'm not even doing. You know, letter in October. I told you about this. I got 2 months ahead of that. Let me know. I know. I don't want. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, 124. Because 120 is under construction. It's when you come in at Fifth Avenue Street and 24th Street, right by the pool.
Okay. I know we went way further than I wanted to, but any final thoughts? I don't want to say anything, but it's the last meeting we have before the meeting. But we'll say that meeting more, getting more. Thank you, Robin. Wow.
Why wouldn't I?
I feel like Robin's good stuff. You should do, like, yeah. You know, I appreciate y'all being here with me and encouraging me, but I really appreciate it.
From where I sit, you have the most commitment of any chair, and I've been here since a long time.
Thank you. But it is a pleasure working with you all, and it's a relief. Also, the pleasure is a relief. Like, I really don't, and like that event, didn't have to do all the work. All I had to do was just put together the framing, and you guys all came in, pitched in some ways, shape and form, and helped out. So I appreciate you all. Keep doing the work you're doing in your spaces, and keep bringing that energy here. Take it to your other committees as well. But that's all I have.
So I'm actually not gonna email my name because I won't be able to landmark committee on Wednesday, but people would like to be on. I am a potential grantee receiver on Wednesday, so not on Wednesday. You can watch it live, so I'll send them a link. And you can register, you can watch it live on Wednesday from 5 to 9, but the reveal of the winners probably like at 6. So you'll see the live pictures be pre-recorded, so it's about 13 organizations who did 4-minute pitches for their ventures.
One
And
award.
well, 3 awards. So it's first, second, and third.
Congratulations and being a final.
Wow. That's not easy. But it's a 12-week program, it was very intense, and me being in this space for a while, I felt, infantile, considering the work we had to bring to the table, so we all put in a lot of work, so I consider us all winners. When you hear everyone's pitches, I'm sure they can be in this space and speak about some of the stuff that they can contribute to the work that you see in the future for this community. So it's just to get information that you can watch it. It would be very informative. So I'll send you the.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great. Hey, so going back, lastly, I will say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, Joyous Kwanzaa. And if you don't celebrate anything, just enjoy your break. Yes. We will not go through old business, which is our goals for the new year. We'll save that for January meeting. That will have to come in January. Yeah. If there are no bleeding hearts and no one online has anything to say, we can adjourn this meeting at 7:45 once we get the roll call.
Margaret Ripsey,
Present.
Marcel Bonilla, present. Rosa Diaz,
Present and happy holidays.
Army, Walter Hernandez, present. Jennifer Meyer, Valerie Fontaine, present. Yes, present. Isaac Scott,
Present.
Robert Thurston, present. Happy healthy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. And Alita Chichimon. Alita.
Hey, later. So I was telling folks, when Rosa, you too, I was telling folks that in January or February, I would like people from the Human Services Committee that are running initiatives to present their initiative to the community so we know about the work they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.